Get off our lawn, you kids!
Such an American thing. Excuse me, would you mind moving on, please, is
Huh.
what we say in Britain.
No, really? Hey Internet, Gordon Young with PC World. We're here at Computex 2023, and I have a special treat for you. It's Leo from Kit Guru. Let me tell you, we are both spring chickens. We are just fresh to this. But I'm going to tell you, I'm kind of tired about. Okay, I'm joking. We're not actually fresh to this. We're actually a little bit. I'm going to start this over again. Hey Internet, Gordon Young with PC World, coming to you from Computex 2023 from MSI's booth. With me is Leo from Kit Guru, and as you can tell from our hair, we've been doing this a long time, and I think Leo is the perfect person to talk to about this because I think today's PC gamers are a little spoiled. I'm saying, yeah, I don't like the prices either. Things are kind of bad on supply. You went through all that, but as somebody who's been doing PCs for a long, long time, things are still so much better because I used to have to walk to school through the snow, and then it was uphill, and then when you walked home from school, it was uphill too.
And sometimes those San Francisco trolleys don't work right, and it's just
No.
a complete bitch.
Not
and then they
at
brought
all.
along the internet, and everything got better. No, broadly, I agree with you. If we skip past the first bit of history when the internet wasn't a thing, and dial-up modems and all that other horrible nastiness, and we move on. I remember buying a hard drive that was 20 gigabytes in capacity, and you had to literally delete one game to install the next, and so on. Long time ago. But moving on, much more recently, prices. RTX 4090 has upset a lot of people. However, my counter to your misery, PlayStation 5, £500. That's my answer to everybody who doesn't want to spend $2,000 on a gaming laptop. If you don't want to pay the money, there are alternatives. But if you do pay the money, PC gaming offers you so bloody much.
But it's always been, I will say, it's always been a premium. Let me tell you a story, old-timer story here. Leo will appreciate it. I got a hand-me-down PS2 70 series tower, and I said, cool, I'm gonna play games.
Yep.
Well, micro-channel architecture, because you know what, life was hard. Life was hard before. I had to find a micro-channel Sound Blaster card.
Oh,
I had to pay like $250 for a sound card. Now the sound is built into today's
I was going to say,
motherboards.
who knows, when Microsoft, whichever DX version, when they took audio away from the add-in devices, Creative used to be a company, now it's a codec, and so on. That's right, your company will become a codec, just as we will become AI. In fact, we might even be,
It could be AI
one
right
of us
now.
could be an avatar, for all we know, and probably more intelligent with it.
Would you, all right, so like, would you say, I mean, because obviously I'm kind of kidding here, but I do know there is a lot of complaining now, and I get it, it just kind of stinks.
But-
Is it our world at large?
However, when we were discussing coming up the stairs on the way here, what have you seen? I was saying I'd recently reviewed an Asus laptop, AMD Dragon Range processor, brilliant processor, RTX 4090 graphics, over in the UK, £3,700, which is like $4,000 in America, because they're very similar currencies these days. And yet, if you go down from the 4090 to the 4080, 3100, £600 euros dollars difference for mobile 4080 to 4090. We know those names are nonsense or bullshit, frankly. The differential, it's all power limited. In a laptop, it's not a thing, but you move to desktop. You look at the PCs, and I'm sure MSI's got plenty behind us. Graphics cards, silly size, huge weight, because they're doing vast amounts of work. Now, it might be for silly things like ray tracing, but no one's making you buy it. The fact you don't want to spend $1,500 for that graphics card, you don't have to.
That's true.
And there is an argument for DLSS 3. And I know Jensen's going to love me for that one, unless, of course, you're playing online competitive gaming, in which case, not so much. There are many options. And as I say, if really it's all too much for you, get yourself a PlayStation or an Xbox.
I just can't bring myself to say that, Leo. I just can't say it. I can't say it.
I truly reckon that when obviously the pandemic screwed us all up, we know this, but the short supply and then the short supply of consoles meant that the graphics card manufacturer, chip manufacturer, went crazy, and the other one went along with them, because why? Of course you would. And they can't come down. It's like iPhones, they're $1,000 now, and more. They're never going to go back down to what they used to be. They just aren't. Get used to it.
Oh, that's terrible too.
Sad to say, but it's just a fact. I mean, over there, we've got a company that claims to be the SSD cooling king. If you want Gen 5 SSDs, you need a cooler this tall on your M.2. You know, sadly, that's a bit nuts. The world has changed. You can have faster, you can have more expensive. The permutations of fast, expensive, and sane, the triangle's not looking that great in my book, but the performance of some of these devices is remarkable.
Yeah, and that's the one thing is like you're looking at Gen 5 SSDs. Clearly 4090 is great, pricey, but it's incredibly fast. All these things it brings. Sometimes it does feel like, again, kids complaining about, you know.
One of the many things. We do surveys on kitguru.net asking, because we do reality checks, amazingly. It's not all just shouting at the clouds. So things like how many drives do you have in your PC or your laptop? How many fans do you want to use? Stuff like this. Because I'm looking at a case going, it's only got 4 fans. And other people go, as many as that, you say. So you have to... And we were talking about broadband speeds in the UK. And it was like, how fast do you want Wi-Fi 6, Wi-Fi 6E, Wi-Fi 7? And I was just pointing out to the guy doing the survey, some parts of the UK you can barely make a phone call, which to a guy from the valley is up in the Bay Area is what's this all about? There are parts of the UK you go there you cannot get voice signal. Forget data, it's not a thing. Your map does not function. This in the UK last year, it's a thing. So your Wi-Fi can be great. You're connecting to nothing. So reality counts. Live in a metropolitan area, great. Come to Taipei, different world. Because here, it's all digital. They started digital. Seems not been to South Korea, don't know about, but here the same. Yeah. So there we go. So analog, not so great. Digital for the win.
Yeah, and it's more established countries that started. They, like the same with the U.S. There's parts of the U.S. where the infrastructure is just 60, 70 years old, and it hasn't caught up. So we have the same problems too, but mostly rural. Metropolitan areas always kind of get that advantage. Is there an analogy to PCs there? I'm trying to make. People with money obviously can't afford the new shiny stuff. People without it. I mean, but that's that. How do you? There's nothing you can make those people feel any better because. Unless they're going to get more money.
Well, on the PC side of things, one of the system integrators in the UK, Overclockers UK, which is part of Case King, so we're talking now Europe and the UK. The Overclocker 8-pack, who's built like a house, you may have seen him around, Ian Parry, they started building systems with his brand on them before COVID, so 4 or 5 years ago. And they're priced around the £30,000 and £40,000 mark. They're ludicrously, totally everything systems. They didn't really ever think they'd sell any. They were meant to be the thing that makes you go, what's that? I'll buy this thing for a fraction of the price. They sell a good rate and they keep bumping up the spec because anyone buying that doesn't want any compromise. If you can fit 256 gigabytes of DDR5 in a desktop system, well, you can use it. I'm not going to use it, I don't care. I won't have Gen 4, I'll have Gen 5 and so on. The price to some people doesn't matter. It's a fact. So the fact that Mr. Jensen Huang's gone AI and data center, suck it up. The guy ain't coming back.
You don't think so? I've
broken him. I'm so sorry.
I
was meant to be the voice of reason.
Yeah, right.
It's sad. It's like, that's the one thing, and this is actually me complaining about the complaining, but I'm somewhat of an optimist, and I do believe it will self-correct, I hope.
I hope so too. We all were hoping that little Intel would come through good on the graphics side a couple of years ago. We all hoped that Intel would fight back against dominant AMD, which is just the funniest thing to say. And we're looking at it and going, nah, that's not going so well. But we still hope they can do something and swing it around a bit. Because as we found with phone networks, when you've got 3 companies, that's not really competition. When you've got 2, you're screwed. So yeah. When you've got NVIDIA, AMD and Intel, the 3 companies that we really care about in our world, you need to have 3 of them competing in a market, not just 2. So Intel graphics, we all think, if they can get to a certain level and charge a reasonable amount, could be a win. And we're hoping they get their mojo back. We've been hoping that for a while now. And those words 10 years ago would have made no sense.
Yeah, and things look a lot brighter now because definitely Arc was bad at launch, but
Oh,
there's
jeez.
definitely reasons to recommend it these days. And I think it's a real dogfight down in that price range. So that's positive. That's positive.
And it demonstrates strange things like if they can't sort out their drivers, we're knackered. I mean, Intel drivers have always been very, very good on the PC. Basically, they build Windows, don't they? Intel Windows is a good chunk of it. And yet when it came to Arc, whoosh! In an Arc, in fact.
Yeah, is it the Arc this
Yeah,
way or
yeah.
is the Arc that way? Is the question. We don't know.
One of those Canadian hockey sticks that does that.
Oh.
But yeah, quite. So no, but the fact that Mr. Wang has discovered another gravy train to ride for another few years, whether it's like his crypto or one of his other things, he's going to earn gangbusters from that for at least 2 years. I heard the analogy the other day about Cisco did something like it in the past, and sorry who these days.
Yeah.
But Jensen seems to be such a smart cookie, it'll be
Right.
jumping from thing to thing to thing. So where we'll be in 2025, not a clue. But
Right.
right now, essentially, either suck it up or buy a console. Or
Oh, no, don't buy a console. And it is a really good point because bringing it back to the theme of people admittedly grousing about NVIDIA leaving everybody behind, and also I do think they never have in the past, and I think that's interesting. You got to respect the fact. Again, it's in the U.S. we have a saying. It's a hate the game, not the hater.
yeah,
But the fact that NVIDIA somehow always somehow finds a way. Like we thought it was going to be really bad because crypto was over.
yeah.
Gamers aren't buying cards because of the world economy. But now magically, like how do you get in front of the curve again? And you got to respect that again. So that's
Well, there's that thing, isn't there? It's like certain companies can make the weather. If
Right.
you look at AR, VR, Meta has not had great success.
no.
And I'm being as polite as I can possibly be.
Yeah.
If this Apple device comes out, what's it going to be called? We don't know. And we're predicting it's going to be $3,000, aren't we? And it's meant to look like a curved visor that just is wonderful. Provided it looks like we understand and it functions like we expect, then the fact it's going to cost huge amounts, they will sell. How much now are there the AirPods and the Division?
$250 or something.
No. The sales as a part of their company, they're now it's a significant part. Wearables, they created the watch, the initial watch. Who wants a watch? Now you can't, admittedly not us, but the watch is now a hefty part of their
Right.
revenue stream. You move around, Apple can make the weather. It's their thing. And NVIDIA, Jensen Huang specifically, makes the weather.
Yeah,
It just does.
You got to respect that because, again, hate the game, not hate the game, not the player. So,
Yeah, no, indeed. No, the man's been, NVIDIA's 30 years old, right?
yeah.
And they refer to it as he's a founder, although actually a co-founder, I know. He's what, as close to, would you say, Larry Ellison as anyone around? I mean, who else is there in the industry that's been around that long that's a founder of their company? I mean, Tim Apple at Cook. Yeah, he didn't even bite.
No.
But you got people that are coming. Lisa Su is doing famously well, but she did not found the company.
Right.
You've got Oracle and you've got NVIDIA. Those guys have been there for decades.
Right.
Jensen Huang makes the weather, so you might hate the prices, but suck it up or play a different game.
Yeah. And in other words, because I got to let Leo go, get off our lawn, you kids.
Shouting at the clouds.